What's going on, guys? So we're back, and today we are going to do a box opening video for some Speed Engineering long tube headers for my LS swap on my 1994 G30 van. All right, so I ordered the Speed Engineering long tube headers. A lot of people suggest these for the LS swap in the 90s G van. Some of the older vans have a smaller doghouse, so the Speed Engineering long tube headers won't work. It's a little tighter in there. But as you can see, it looks like FedEx may have helped us start opening this one. So hopefully there's no damage or anything missing. So I'm gonna get this camera set up and we'll start opening this up the rest of the way. Here we are, Speed Engineering long tubes. I believe these are for an older Chevy C10 LS swap, and they seem to work on these vans. Sort of, you know, what you come to expect from a cheaper set of headers. You know, they are TIG welded, but you know the welds just are a little subpar. You know, they're fine. They'll get the job done. Just no weld pouring going on, you know, with any of these, but it is what it is. It's sort of what you come to expect from, you know, cheaper products. In the future, I will be changing this up and making my own. I just don't have the time at the moment to take on that project. And later on, we actually want to put a turbo or two on this. So we will be getting rid of the long tubes at that point and doing a custom setup from there. But like I said, overall, you know, a good product. I'm satisfied with it. I did notice there's a little, I don't know if this was some shipping damage. You can see that little straight section there where it's been bent up. Not a big deal. We'll knock that out before we install it. But yeah, overall, I mean, like I said, I'm satisfied. As long as they go on, do what they're supposed to do, and don't leak, you know, what more can you ask for a cheap set of long tubes? So now let's see if we can squeeze them in and see how they look installed. All right, so we've ran into our first issue while trying to install these Speed Engineering headers in the van. As you can see, I've only got a couple bolts in it holding it up there. We got it pretty snug up front. You can see there's a large gap here, and what's causing that gap is we are hitting hard on the transmission right there. As you can see.
That's no good.
I was hoping maybe I could just shave a little bit of that corner down, but seeing it like this with that big of a gap there is, I don't want to take that much off of the trans, so I want to stop and do a little research, maybe move to the other side, see what it looks like, and see where I need to go from here. All right, so I get to the driver's side here. The headers go in to position pretty easily. So I try to start the rear most header bolt. I'm having trouble getting the bolt to start. And so I pull the header back out and I take a look, and I don't know if you can see here, but let's see, oh, there you go. There is a broken bolt in the head there.
No, God! No, God, please, no! No! No!
Oh man, that is not what I wanted to see. So the heads that I have on this 6-liter are not what originally came on it. This is an older LQ4 that had the iron heads on it. So I purchased some 317 heads. Not realize there was a broken bolt in the head. I must have missed that. But anyway, let's see what we can do to get this bolt out of there. All right, so we'll move these out of the way since those are the fuel lines. I don't want to get that. Those sparky boys going around that. So I'm not seeing any fires, are you? Now I'm also seeing a huge gap there, so I don't have a feeling this is gonna snap. It's gonna snap off pretty quick. But we'll see. That's all we can do is try. If it snaps off, I'll grab another one and try it again. Oh. Ah. Well, that did not work. I'm going to use a little bit bigger of a nut this time, just to see if I can get a little more of this hot metal in there. No. Nope. Immediately starts to just snap off of there. Yep. We did not make any progress on that one for sure. All right, I'm gonna try it one more time here. If not, I think I'll have to take a break, go buy some bolt extractors tomorrow, and see if I can get in there to drill a hole. I honestly don't know if I'll be able to. I feel like there's decent heat going into that, but again, there's just not a whole lot of surface area to get much of anything on there. So I'm gonna do this one a little different. I've got some transmission fluid over here. And I'm gonna put a little trans fluid on it and let it sit for a while. See if it'll seep into those threads a little bit. Let that cool down. May try to put a little heat onto the head right there to see if that help loosen everything up. Let that cool off for a little bit. All right, so I let the nut that I welded onto the broken bolt cool down a little bit, and I threw some trans fluid on it. Hopefully that'll seep into those threads, help loosen that up some for us. But we're gonna let that sit, and while that's sitting, we're gonna jump back over here to the passenger side where the primary is touching the transmission. So I've read a few things where people have had to cut the ears off the transmission. Now, where it's touching, the only thing that does, there's a bolt hole there. That bolt there, the only thing that does is hold the inspection cover on. So it's not a huge deal, I don't think. I mean, obviously, we don't want to have to cut anything off. But if we do, I mean, I guess that's not a bad thing to have to cut off. I thought about just heating up the primary and pushing it in a little bit right there. We may still have to do that a little bit, but what I'm actually going to do is I'm just going to pull the header back sort of out of the way, and I'm going to go grab a file, and I'm just going to start filing at that corner a little bit and just see if I can file that down enough to where the primary will clear and we can pull it up tight to that head right there. So let's see what it does.
A few inches later.
All right, so we got the ear of the transmission cut off, even though I'm pretty sure I said I wasn't going to do that. Did I say that? Okay, maybe. Anyway, it sort of seemed like that was the only way. I thought it was only going to take a little bit of trimming, and I trimmed a little bit, and it was still off. Trimmed a little bit, it was still way off. So I cut quite a bit off, and it still needed a little bit. So even after cutting the ear off, I still had to get down there and grind a little bit off of it. But I think that's got it, so we'll take a look here. And if it is, we'll start tightening up the hardware, and hopefully whenever I get everything tightened up, it'll still be off the transmission a little bit. So I've got it, passenger side header bolts tightened up, and as you can see, it is extremely close there. We may end up having to loosen that up and just take that edge off a little more. But yeah, may be able to cut just a little more off of it without taking them off. Just basically cut it with that line there straight down. Have plenty of clearance that way. But that's where I'm going to leave it for now. If anything, I may get a small saw in there to take off more of the that ear. It's a little tight in there. It's not too tight, but getting grinders and stuff in there it is a little tight for that. So if I can get a small saw in there, would be the way to go. Maybe go buy a small air saw. I'm not sure that I want to go full-on reciprocating saw in there. That might be a little big, and
That's what she said.
Michael, please. Please.
could definitely cause some issues if things go awry. So I'm going to be finished with this side for a moment, and we're going to go back to the driver's side. I've let the stubborn bolt that I've welded the nut to sit in transmission fluid for a little while, so we're going to go see if we can break that free. If we can, we're going to go ahead and install the driver's side header. If not, that's where I'll be done for the night. It's coming up on 1 a.m. I believe. So yeah, we'll move over to the driver's side and see if we can get that stubborn bolt out of the head. Come on now, I'll be good to me, baby. I want to sort of stop and look to see what's happening, but I'm nervous. I'm too afraid. But it does feel good. I'm getting quite a few turns in here. I don't feel or hear any metal sort of ripping away from itself. The weld's ripping away from that bolt or nut. Things feeling pretty smooth. And yeah, I think that got it. I don't know if it was the transmission fluid or my singing that sort of helped get it out of there, you know. I mean, it was probably my singing, because the bolt knows that if it actually comes out of the head, it won't have to listen to my singing anymore. Yeah, here we go. Looky there, that's what we're talking about right there, but it is, those threads are looking pretty bad coming out of there, but you know what? It's okay, we can clean that up. Yeah, there we go. That is what I'm talking about. Looky there, victory. Oh yeah, that doesn't look too bad at all. Finally, something is going our way. That's what I'm talking about right there. We just have a small burr there that we will clean up. There we go. All right, so we got that bolt out. It's awesome. Drop a comment below to let me know if you think that it was the transmission fluid that helped bring that bolt out, or if it was my beautiful singing voice. Let me know in the comments. Let's go. There we go, Speed Engineering long tube headers installed into a 1994 G30 van with an LS swap. Alright, so that's where I'm going to end this video. We got the Speed Engineering headers installed. It did take longer than I thought it was going to, but we did run into some issues that were not at fault of the headers. I wish I'd caught the broken bolt in the head whenever I purchased the heads, but we got it out. Again, drop a comment, let me know if it was that tranny fluid or if it was my singing voice that scared that bolt out of here, or scared that bolt out of the head because it knew that that was the only way to get me to shut up. But the issue that we had that I was not expecting was the interference with the transmission. Everything I had read on the G Series van LS swap groups acted like these headers should have went in no problem with this van. I did read where some people with the, I think a Turbo 400 had some issues with transmission clearance, but I hadn't read anything about the 4L80s having any type of interference issues. So that came as a surprise. I was expecting to throw them in and to be good. As far as a review for these headers, getting them installed, you know, we'll have to see whenever we get the van running if they have any leaks or anything like that and just how they hold up. But as for now, they are the see here. The part number for those is 25-1025, and it's the 1 3/4 long tube headers for a C10 truck universal, LS1, LS2, LS3, LS6, LSA. So that is the part number that we're using. Again, everything I had read stated that these should have went in no problem, but we did have to end up cutting a piece of the transmission off, which is just the ear that holds the dust cover on, which I was having issues with the dust cover fitting with the LS, so I'm having to modify the dust cover anyway. So it's not a huge deal in my mind. I don't believe that it's going to cause any issues with strength of the transmission bell housing or anything like that. So not a huge deal. It was just extra work. But that's fine. We've got it done. They're installed. We're ready to move on. But with that taking so long, this is where I'm ending the video. On the next one, we will start installing some of the electrical components, coils, spark plug wires, try to throw the intake on, and start wrapping this build up. Try to get this thing a little bit closer to running, because man, I can't wait to get this thing run, fired up. I want to drive it on the lift, and I'm going to make a full 3-inch dual stainless exhaust for this van. I'm really excited about that, to be able to just get back there and put a really nice exhaust on this pretty old, worn out van. And like I said in the last video, the whole reason I'm doing this swap is because the old exhaust just was rotting away, and I'm not going to put a nice exhaust on a worn out, small block 350, throttle body injected. I've been wanting to do the LS swap for a while, so I'm pretty excited to get it going. If you've made it this far, I really appreciate you watching. Let me know what you guys think about the videos so far. Be sure to like this video, comment, subscribe, and hit that bell if you want to get notifications for whenever we upload the new videos. So that's going to be all for this one, and we will see you next time here on As the Crank Turns.
Well,